Is manifestation always easy? Hey guys, hope you're well. And in this video, I want to talk about this common topic that a lot of people discuss and the many issues with this. Is manifestation always easy? The answer is no. Manifestation is not always easy. And in today's video, I will tell you why isn't it always easy, and if you are in this journey, what you can do to make it easier for yourself. I will also talk about what are the unhealthy things that can come with assuming that manifestation is always easy and how you can actually assume it in a holistic and a better way for yourself. So let's get into this video and let's understand this point by point. So, first of all, is manifestation easy? Yes, manifestation can be easy, and in many topics, manifestation is very, very easy to do. Theoretically, manifestation as a concept is very easy to comprehend. It's more about if I want something, I need to make myself the version of me who has it, and eventually I will experience it in my world. This is also called living in the end, which is a concept that is explained in different ways by different people, and everyone can have a different definition of living in the end, but theoretically that is where it comes down to. You need to assume that you already have it, and to assume that you already have it, you need to become the person who would already have it. So for example, if I'm working on manifesting a relationship, I will become someone who would be capable of being in a relationship, who would feel worthy of a relationship, who would be able to handle a relationship, and then it eventually comes to me in a healthy and a sustainable way. This was just an example. But going so far to say manifestation is always easy has its own set of issues that come up because of it, and we can honestly create a lot of misconceptions because of this concept. So, whenever we add the word always to something, it implies that it always is that way. For example, if you throw something down, it will always go down. That is gravity, which means it will always work. Unfortunately, manifestation is not one of those concepts which is always easy. It can be easy, but it not always is. And this belief in itself can create a lot of issues for people when they are going into this journey. So, if I'm assuming that manifestation is always easy, and for example, I'm starting my journey and it isn't easy for me, I can easily get into the state of comparison. I can start to compare that, you know what, it was easy for that person, or that one coach was talking about how manifestation is easy, but it isn't easy for me, which means that maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe there is something wrong with me. That's one issue that comes up when we always assume that manifestation always has to be easy. That's one thing. Secondly, for a lot of people, when we start to assume that manifestation as a concept is always easy, we end up being in a place where we give up too early when we should have just persisted. So let's say you are wanting to manifest a specific person, or you're wanting to manifest money, or you're wanting to manifest something, and you start the journey, but you don't get the result in 3 days, or you don't get the result in a month, and it isn't always easy, and you are getting resistance. And because that is happening, you start to assume that, you know what, because I'm getting these things, this must mean that I'm doing something wrong, because I have always heard that manifestation as a concept is always supposed to be easy. So, because of that, I can eventually end up giving up. Now, in here, the issue might not have been that the person was doing something wrong. It just would have been that they would have had to persist for a while longer. But because we came from this belief that manifestation always has to be easy, we end up sabotaging it for ourselves. Another way through which people have been having trouble because of this belief is that manifestation is easy. Yes, if it isn't, then must mean I'm doing something wrong, so let me change techniques. Now, that technique might have been working for a person, but they didn't persist with it long enough just because it was giving them resistance. So, I was talking to one of my clients, and she said that, you know what, Karan, affirmations never work for me. I have been affirming for a while, but affirmations don't make me feel good. Affirmations don't make me manifest things. I just feel affirmations are not for me. So we tried to understand what the issue was. After further introspection, what we realized was not that affirmations was not for her. In fact, she had used affirmations in many areas of her life and she had gotten results very, very fast. It was actually the most convenient thing for her to do. She was not good at scripting, she did not want to visualize, but affirmations was something she always liked doing. It just made her feel that it was not easy because in this particular topic that she was manifesting, she was getting a lot of resistance. So I gave her the technique on how to handle resistance, and after doing it once or twice, Two three times when the resistance came, she started to feel more closer to those affirmations, and now she's getting results from the same affirmations. Why? Was affirmations something that didn't work for her? No, affirmations were working for her. It was just because she was getting resistance, and she was assuming that it always has to be easy, so it always has to be instant and easy. And because it wasn't that way, she was assuming she was doing something wrong, and she was changing that belief, which in itself made it slightly difficult for her. So, letting go of this belief that manifestation always has to be easy will actually be beneficial for you. But let's understand the downside of this. Now, this is not me saying that you shouldn't generally assume that manifestation is easy. This is not me telling you that you should assume that manifestation will always be difficult. We always want to have the belief that it will be the easiest process for us as much as possible. But we don't want to go in a direction that if it is getting slightly difficult, that we start to assume that we are doing something wrong. Just because it is getting difficult is not always an indication that we are doing something wrong. Also, just because it might be taking some time is also not an indication that you are doing something wrong. Yes, in some areas, there are things that you can do differently that can fasten the process for you. And you are the best judge, because somewhere we all know where we are doing something wrong. And if not, you can consult someone you trust, a coach, a therapist, someone that can help you, guide you into that journey, right? That if they can help you understand if you might be doing something wrong or not. It's just that this belief doesn't always help. Now, what are the things that come into picture whenever we are trying to manifest something which can have an effect on how easy and not easy it might be for you? Again, this is not me saying that these things will play an effect all the time, or that these things will always play a role in this. We want to actually just assume that these things will not matter at all. But our mind, because it works in its own way, and sometimes we can get thoughts, sometimes we have been into these habits for such a long time that sometimes it can take a little bit of time for them to go away. When something is taking a little bit of time to go away, we don't want to sabotage it for ourselves by assuming we are doing something wrong when we aren't. So, what can come up in your situation that can make something difficult for you? Your past. That is one thing that can definitely come up in your situation. I will give you an example. So, let's say I am someone who always had bad relationships with money when I was younger. And let's say there is another person who has always had great relationship with money when they were younger. Now their conditioning and their belief about that particular topic will be very different from what my beliefs and my conditions about that is, because of which I will have a different definition of things and they will have a different definition of things. So let's say we both want to manifest money and we start affirming at the same time, and we both get resistance. The resistance that we get will be difficult and different. So the resistance that they get probably will be in lines of, maybe let's say, how will it come? Maybe for me, resistance can be, oh, people who have money are evil, because that's what I have learned since I was younger, right? Now this belief in itself is hurting me because I am coming from that past condition. And let's say this person navigates through their resistance and gets their manifestation faster, and I'm still navigating through mine. And I start to think that because they got it faster, that must mean I'm doing something wrong. That's not true. I might be doing the correct thing. It's just that I might have a little bit extra resistance to deal with in the middle. The same can come in the topic of relationship. So let's say I'm manifesting a relationship and the same person is also doing so, but I have had great relationships in the past and they haven't. So let's say we both go out with a different woman on the same date, right? And I come home and I say that, you know what, the date went amazing, right? And everything was going well. And this person also told me that they will call me. And the same thing happens with this person. Now, we both can have a different perception on it. Let's say in my past, my relationships have been great. I will just assume that this person will call. But let's say this same person who went on the date and who also had a great date, in their past, they had a relationship where someone told them that they will call, but they didn't, right? And they found out that this person was just playing them or out with them because of a dare. Just an example. So this person will assume that, you know what, this person said that they would call, but what if they don't? What if they are trying to play me? Now these thoughts are not always going to be there, but they can be there. And a lot of time they come out of instinct. Of course, if this person handles it, they will get better, right? If they talk to themselves, if they change their inner conversation about it, it will get better and you will get better results. It's not that I'm saying that you will have a difficult time manifesting things just because of your past. What I'm saying is you can have a different level of resistance because of your past, and that's fine. You can have a different type of resistance because of your past, and that's fine. But we don't always have the correct tools to deal with it. Now, let's say this person sees the concept and says that, you know what, manifestation was always supposed to be easy, and I am affirming, but why is it not happening with me? Maybe there is something wrong. There wasn't something wrong. They just had to deal with resistance differently. Another thing that affects your manifestation is your environment. Now, it's easy to say that, theoretically, that you will never be affected by situations around you. But just think about it. Let's say I live in a place where anything that I say is always supported. So anything that I talk about, any dreams that I have, my parents always support me. And let's say you live in a place where anytime you talk about anything that you dream of, everyone around you is constantly belittling you because of it. Of course, the level of doubts that you will have will be higher. Of course, you will have a higher level of doubts, because whenever someone is putting us down, at some point, at some insecurity, they might trigger it. So if that insecurity gets triggered, I will have a higher chance of constantly thinking about it, which can increase my chance of going down a spiral, which in itself can slower my process a little bit, because I will be going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This does not again mean that you cannot overcome your environmental conditioning. It just means that at some point you have to understand that just because something is taking time and just because you're getting some resistance with it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. And one of my most important questions that I would want to ask you is, why is there this hyperfixation that it always has to be easy? Of course, we want it to be easier, and of course, that is the belief we want to hold. But just because sometimes it is taking time, you can also savor the process. You are also changing as you are dealing with this resistance. You're also becoming a different person as you're dealing with this resistance. So that eventually, let's say down the line, you're wanting to manifest something in the similar area, you would have way lesser resistance and it will be way easier for you because you have dealt with this resistance and now you're not that person anymore. So it is not just about your manifestation, but who it is making you in the process. And if it is making you a different person in the process, that is an absolute win. So understand that and don't put this unnecessary pressure on yourself where you are assuming that you are doing something wrong or that the process is going wrong for you just because it isn't as easy as you thought it would be. And that would be absolutely amazing for you. So, again, to summarize, manifestation is easy. Yes. In many situations, it is way easy. Yes. It is theoretically easy. Yes. But practically, there are some situations because of your past and your past conditions and your environment which can make it slightly difficult. But if it is going difficult, that doesn't always mean that you're doing something wrong. Sometimes it is just a part and parcel of the process that you have to deal with. So I hope this video helps you, and I hope that you are able to take the help and the benefit from this that it was intended for. And I will see you guys in the next one.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe and share if you liked the video. The link for my one-on-one coaching, my self-help courses, and my free newsletter are in the description box below.